asked which ones you thought wanted to hear. Well, the one we have tonight is popular. So we're going to be this, we've got a guest speaker, Coco is going to speak, and it's about cyber security and how to protect yourself online. So we'll hear a little bit more from him in a few minutes, but before we move on, I just want to, for the new people who are here, just say who we are and what we're about. This is the LifeWealth Group Women. We've got our little Thursday night group where we get together and we just call it our Wonder to Wisdom. We are investment advisors. We have a lot of female clients. So for our female clients and friends, we do various subjects. We'll talk about finances, we'll talk about investment, we'll talk about cybersecurity, personal security, whatever you want to hear. But we've just decided this world doesn't have to be dominated by men. The investment world, there's enough of us women, we're going to add a bit of color and do our thing. Wonder to Wisdom is just, many times I've heard over the years, being an investment advisor myself, a lot of women just sit back in the process, not really understanding what's going on. So we're here to ask your questions in one sense to do with your investment. We're here just to get to know one another, connect, encourage one another. So we want to educate, but we also want to encourage, but we want to engage. We want you to connect. And I know some of you have been coming over the months and you're making friends with one another, and that just thrills our hearts that you do that. That's really, really wonderful. So basically the things we're trying to cover is every Thursday we'll have the first Thursday of every month, we'll do a little topic on a subject on a variety of topics. There's going to be some community events. I don't know if anybody's coming out with us tomorrow, but once a quarter we do a little bit of serving the community. I'm not sure if any of you in here, but yes, some of you in this room have been with us before. So we do that. We also have a travel concierge that we're part of, that if there's any more travel experiences you want, we can connect you with that. And then there's going to be some other social and engagement opportunities. It's been a little bit hard to do anything, but we are planning something outside of this room or bringing in some other activities. So Susan and I are talking about that. We'll bring that and unroll that to you over the next few meetings, okay? Save the dates if you could just, the next Thursday night meeting will be June the 2nd. And Jeremy, our wonderful Jeremy, is going to walk through a fidelity statement. Now, for some of you, that might be just, well, I don't know how to read this fidelity statement, but there's plenty of us who just don't really know what it's about. So let's just be mindful that we're in all stages of development in this group, and it is part of just education, whatever we need. So we want to, for those who need that, that's what we're going to be doing. So Jeremy is your speaker next month. And then following that, we're going to go over how to use the financial apps that we have. When you're a client, you're going to get these links to e-money and the Fidelity website and different things that we do, planning and vaults and planning software. We're going to do a quick education piece on how to use those to the fullest and the best. So what I want to talk about who I want to introduce to you tonight is Keyloggers. He is the co-founder and president of Orlando Tech. He established that company back in 1995, and it's grown to be one of Central Florida's largest managed service providers. So they provide internet service. Well, I'll let you say it then. But he really, I'm going to stick to the script. Finances. He's Orlando Tech partners with small and medium-sized businesses that share their concern and commitment for IT and security. He routinely gives cybersecurity workshops, more about tonight, to a variety of companies and organizations to educate them and their staff on the costly mistakes made as a result of cyber crime. Fundamentally, we are living in a far more technologically advanced world, and cybersecurity is something nobody can afford to ignore. Do you remember when this wasn't an issue, when we kind of just had our little PCs or our local area networks and we operated like that? And this wasn't even something in our realm of thinking. And then I can remember as the internet and things started to open up, cybersecurity became something to think about, and people were starting to get into that world, not even knowing what it was about, and it's evolved so quickly and so fast till here we are, and we're going to hear some surprising things to be aware of tonight. We used to think in terms of personal security, things like that, being aware of your purse, your bags, but now it's who's watching you, who's trying to get to your information. I'm going to let Keith expand on that, but there's things where there's just some red flags out there, things to pay attention to when you're online doing certain things, and just to help protect you. So Keith, thank you for your time, and he's given his time up for us tonight, ladies, so welcome, Keith. Sorry, one minute. Are we recording? Did Susan step out?
I said that.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Susan said I'd get 3 margaritas if I could.
Did you get my boys from Margarita?
So, out of everyone here, how many of you raise your hands know somebody personally, or how many has had compromises? So about 70% of them. I mean, that's a pretty big number. How many of you seen my presentation before? You're at the one here. So this is gonna, hopefully, you've done a lot of
Maybe
stuff.
I'll understand it a little more.
So like she stated, I've got lots and lots of examples. Everybody, every friend, relative that ever has a compromise calls me. So I get to hear all the stories, as well as all of our clients and new clients that call us with breaches. I mean, it's an extremely dangerous world right now. If you haven't seen all the news with Russia and everything and the actions going on, maybe you just don't watch TV like somebody else. So hopefully by the end of this, scare you a little, just make you pause and think about, how to protect yourself. I know you and your spouse have all worked hard through the years to save your money and invest it. The last thing you want to do is lose some of that as you go to retirement. And I've heard too many dangerous stories about that. So I started off with, I was watching this Netflix series, What If, with my wife one night, and I was like, I think that'd be a great name for my presentation. What if that email is really not from my friend, from my coworker? What if this device I just found, it's not just a free USB drive I picked up? What if this text message, is really not from my bank? Well, just what if? When I'm done, that's what I want you to take away today. It's just that, go with that gut feeling, stop, pause, what if, do your, verify where it came from, and I'm gonna give you a lot of scenarios on how to do that. But that is my goal tonight. We only have 45 minutes, I'm gonna talk really fast from this point on. So if you have questions, like I said, write them down, otherwise we'll be here 2 hours. My regular presentation is about an hour and a half, we've got 45 minutes. Here we go. So I will be emailing this PDF, which will have a bunch of the links I talked about tonight, and tools and stuff you can use. I'm sure they'll share with you, along with a summary of the presentation as well. So we're going to start out with email, phishing and smishing. So back during the pandemic, these were the 3 most common ones we saw: Microsoft, Facebook, and PayPal. If you have a 365 email account or anything with Microsoft, this one was very good. This one actually came to me. What I want you to know is, in the past, it was from an Nigerian prince that wanted to transfer 10 million. The grammar was horrible, misspelled words, very easy to detect. Now that's not the case. I mean, they use the formats, the logos, and everything. And the key thing I want you to take away here is that they put an IP address, the date, time, the browser platform, the OS, all this fake. They're just trying to get you to believe them, right? And their main goal is just to get you to click on one of those blue links to get your credentials. And then once they have their credentials, your account will be compromised. We use Microsoft Teams a lot. I don't know if any of you use Teams, but we can set up tasks. I actually received this one as well. And I received this last February, and it said my January task, I had completed something. And I almost clicked on it because it was so used to seeing that from the Microsoft Planner and stuff. So once again, what if? Just pause. Sure enough, I hovered over it, and once it was on Microsoft's account, and it was trying to get your credentials once again, just by you think you have it perform some tasks. So Facebook. So a lot of people ask me why I do a lot of business presentations. They ask me, why don't you include Facebook? It's more personal. Well, this is the reason. So if one of your friends' Facebook accounts is compromised, I'm sure you've probably gotten a fake friend request from a friend, like I'm friends with them already. So what's happened there is they have not protected their account. So if I go to your Facebook account, if you had one, and you don't have it protected, I can see you and all your friends. So all I've got to do is set up a new Facebook account with a fake email, your picture, and then invite all your friends, just go to them to be friends. If they don't realize they're not already friends with you, then I start sending them messages like I'm from you. Or I've actually compromised your Facebook account, and that's when it becomes really dangerous because you really think it's from your friend. And this is actually what happened to me right at the start of the pandemic. So I got a Facebook message from a friend, said, hey, check out this website, it's coronavirus.map.com. And you can check out all the statistics of COVID-19 and how it's spread around and check the cities, you know, Winter Garden, Maitland, Winter Park, whatever. And because back then, this was in March, and as you know, back in March of 2020, it was all this was going crazy. So they like to play on current events. So once again, I almost clicked on it, but one of the key things was this friend that messaged me, I hadn't heard from him in 3 years, right? Why is he all of a sudden just sending me this website? So you don't message them back because if their account's compromised, you're just going to be talking to the hacker. So I actually knew his email address, sent him an email, and asked him if he actually sent this, and he said no. So I had one of my engineers, and we have a virtual environment, we can go to these things and see what happens. And if you went and clicked to this actually loaded a keylogger on your computer. Now this was linked to Johns Hopkins website, so they allow any website for free to do this because what was going on in the world. So it looked just like this. And you can go search on Orlando, and it was all legitimate, but it put a keylogger behind the scenes. And the keylogger is exactly what it sounds and blocks every single keystroke. So if you go to your bank, you put your username, your password, you go to email, whatever it might be, Amazon. They're capturing all that information. Every email you type, Word document, Excel, everything is going to be sent to hacker every night. They're going to see how they can compromise you. So I had to contact my friend and let him know this is very malicious. And he went back and looked, and it said the 380 of his Facebook friends. He contacted every one of them. 18 of them had keyloggers on it, had actually clicked on it, put there, and we helped them get it off their system. That's a good-hearted thing to do, but that's how dangerous Facebook can be. PayPal was the other one. I actually got this one. It's a little blurry off the internet. But just once again, notice they're trying to get you to act quickly because they're saying your PayPal account has been deleted, and if you don't recover it, then you're going to lose everything in a short amount of time. Right, short period of time. So you think your money's going to be gone. They've got a few $1,000 in there. All they're trying to do is get your PayPal credentials, and once you give them that, your money will be gone. So Apple, Google, we see these all the time. This one's a fake. It looks just like an Apple email saying an iTunes gift card has been purchased. Just let you know you receipt. Once again, you didn't really purchase it. They're just trying to get your Apple credentials. Google saying your Gmail looks like it might be compromised. Notice the IP address, the city again, they're using that same format, just trying to get your credentials. This is a pretty good one that came out in the pandemic because everybody was locked down, nobody was going to weddings, baby showers, and there was these fake gift cards. So they sent an attachment acting like somebody sent you one, so maybe you were having a baby or getting married, and it just happened to go and you were expecting something like this. And if you open it, they said it was an Amazon gift card, and then it opened up Microsoft Word. So if you ever get something like this and it's a Word document, you should never open up a Word document anyway, unless you are expecting something. But notice the security warning, enable content. You might have seen this in the past when you open up Word documents. It's a valid thing. People have used macros and stuff inside Word that allow them to do stuff. What it's doing is running scripts. It's very dangerous because the script can also load malware. So this one was actually loading malware, and it had a picture of the Amazon gift card or QR code. You think it was legit. In the background, this would load ransomware, which is encrypted all your files and then scanned the whole network and started encrypting everything on the server. So extremely dangerous. Lastly here, they like to take whatever's going on in the world with current events. Like I said, we are all at home working, so Zoom, this was a fake one trying to get Zoom credentials, and also fake Netflix one. So as you can see, they all look so legit. So you just anything that's asking for account compromise, payment overdue, account lockout, anything like that, just stop. You can kind of look to see where it's going. Don't click on it. You can hover over it. It should bring up the URL. But I tell people, just go to Netflix.com, log into your account, go to notifications, you have the order history. If everything's good, stay and move on. Okay? So if something has been done and there's emailing you, it will be on their system rewired. Or call if you need to. And don't call from any numbers on these emails because they're fake too. This is what I tell people they're coming from fake sites and stuff like this. This one actually came from a legitimate site. So I point this out because they happen to use Dropbox, OneDrive, just like we can. It doesn't have to be a fake site. So we see a lot of businesses this happens to. So they like to target business development stuff because they're expecting quotes. They want to get that new business, so they click quick. So you got to be very careful clicking on anything, especially if it's an HTML file. Nobody's going to be sending you an HTML file. That's going to be something that's going to probably be loaded malware. So you got to be very careful with that. So my CFO received an email a few years ago, and it said it was coming from me. I'm sure we've all heard these. They want to do, the CEO saying, please do a wire transfer. My CFO will give you $5 petty cash, so I don't have to worry about her doing something like this without trusting it. But it came from OR1 Antech, or companies or Landtech. So the hacker actually is a very targeted attack. Okay, it's not like they're sending out hundreds of thousands of emails just trying to get 1% of the people to fall for it. The hacker had done their research, got a link in their website, whatever it might be, knew who my controller was, found every email, found my stuff on the internet, and then went to GoDaddy and paid $25 for a domain name. Actually spending money to hack us. So we had to contact GoDaddy and put a fraud alert in because they try to do this to our clients as well, acting like we're coming from us, or your vendors, your customers, whatever it might be. So I tell people, they can take a letter out, like you're saying the H, having domain name. If you have an M in the domain name, that's the number one they love to do is a R and an N. And especially on your cell phone, or if you have a fine font, you cannot see that. It's just nice. It'll just blur right together. They'll go out and they'll do a search to see if you're an E, LLC. They'll just add that on to the end of the domain. They can mention another country like Australia. They can put it .co, .biz, .net. There's thousands of iterations they can do to try to trick you. Everybody asks me, should I go buy all these? No, because they'll just find another way to take something out or use something. Why I'm showing you this is, like I said, it can pretend it from a coworker, it can be from a customer, it can be from a friend, family, vendor. You got to be very careful. A lot of things are happening with vendors trying to get bank accounts changed so when they pay your bills, it's actually going to happen. So smishing, which is text messaging and trying to fish information out. I don't know if any of you started receiving these. I have. So what it is they're trying once again, for USPS, UPS, Amazon, Netflix, bank accounts. We saw some of them with the vaccine were going around for vaccine information. If a text message comes in with a link, just treat 100% of them as fake and it's malicious. Okay. They know we're getting better and better at protecting company networks and all, and how we're doing that. So they know a lot of these come into your office. It's connected to wireless, and you can get your corporate email and other things on them. So the hackers are coming after these next. We'll go into that in a little bit. Malware is voicemail. If you work somewhere that your voicemail comes in your email, you can listen to it on your PC. We had a client, because we sell voice systems, that came in and she listened to it, didn't hear anything. This was 5 years ago, probably, and she forwarded it to 3 other ladies. I can't hear anything. Can you hear anything? They put ransomware on all 4 machines, but luckily they caught it and stopped it. We said we rebuild those 4 machines. But we tell people, if you get these work somewhere, every time you get one of these, they should look the same, right? Every time you listen to it, the same wording, the same color. If that ever changes, that should be a pause and let you look. It also should be a WAV file. If it's any other type of file, then that's another thing to look for. But so if you ever see a change, you just ask your IT person and stuff to verify. So now we're going to get away from all that stuff. We're going to get to the fun stuff, social engineering. Because like I said, the hackers are knowing it's getting harder and harder just to get emails and other techniques through to get account credentials and stuff. So now they're switching to social engineering. I go to Vegas every year for these hacker conferences, usually one of my engineers, and social engineering is becoming really huge. So I'm gonna give some examples of that. I was downtown Wood Park one night, and one of my good friends, Todd, called me, and he lives in Jacksonville, and he said, Keith, because I just need to run something by you. That feeling I told you about? He had it. So he said, I received a call from Apple Tech Support, and he said they were detecting my computer was compromised and was sending out malicious activity across the internet, and I need to get it fixed. And they offered to get it in my system for me and fix it. And he's a very bright guy, very high up in the national bank, could have been very dangerous. So he said, okay, how do I know this is truly Apple Tech Support? They said, well, go to our website, apple.com, and go to tech support, which did. And they said, what's the 800 number there? I don't know, this is the 800 number used. And he read the number off to him. They said, well, look at your cell phone. Is that the caller ID I'm calling from? And he said, yes, it is. And they bought his trust for that. Okay. I can make my phone system say any phone number in the world that I want to. Okay. You can never trust caller ID. Now, the government is still going to hopefully put it into some of that. I've been reading some things, so hopefully it will. But this allows me to be fishing on my boat, and I can call through my phone system that says caller ID is coming from my work, right? It allows you to do stuff over the internet, and so you can be anywhere, home, whatever it might be. So anyway, they got into this system, the website, let them in. They brought up all these windows, acted like they were doing stuff, looked legitimate, technical. 10 minutes went by, they said, thank you very much. We found an issue, got it fixed. We're a great Apple client. If you ever have any issues, please call our tech support. No, what if? Is that really Apple? So he called me. I told him right away, turn your computer off. When I get home, let me get into it. I got in. There was a remote control software running on it and listened to them. So all the hacker was waiting was for him to go to bed and not show any activity on his computer. The hacker was going to get back into the system. And then they're going to go to your internet browsers. You say any passwords on your Google Chrome, Edge, any of that stuff. Any of my guys can crack that in a couple minutes. Okay, that's the first place hackers are going to go. So if you say any bank passwords, Amazon, we're going to have all of that info that you get in your computer. They're going to go to all your documents and stuff. Look for anything that has passwords in it. My uncle had a spreadsheet called passwords on his desktop. I'll tell you that later, but he got scammed about 18,000. So they're going to go in your contacts and they're going to search those for anything they can find that have my passwords in those there. So very, very dangerous. So this tech support scam would be for something like we're doing IT support here for LifeWealth. So this is targeting LifeWealth. So what they do is they would call up and say, Joel answers the phone. And they're going to say, hey, we're a new IT company in town looking for new business. Would you mind us sending a proposal over to you? No, I'm not interested, but I appreciate it. And they're going to say, well, who do you mind me asking who does your IT support? Orlantech does our IT support. Oh, we know Orlantech. Yeah, that's fine. Well, maybe once their agreement ends, if you're not happy with them, give us a call. Here's the email address, and we'll give you a quote. What just happened? You just told the hacker who's your IT team and your company. So now that hacker, all they're going to do, they're going to go to your website, they're going to go to LinkedIn, and they're saying, maybe choose somebody in marketing. We're just going to say Lisa in marketing. I don't know who marketing is. So they find Lisa on their LinkedIn page and on their website. They're going to go to my website. I've got all my texts removed from my website, all my clients removed from my website, all our vendors removed from my website. Because hackers, I see them in Vegas, what how they're using. They're going to go to my LinkedIn page. You can't stop my employees from putting their stuff out on LinkedIn. And I just know that's going to be a risk. We may see Danny out there does help desk for us. So in about 5 minutes of time, they go Lisa in marketing and Danny or Orlantech. So they're going to wait 2 or 3 weeks. They're not going to do this right away because they don't want you to think about it. They're going to call back in. Hey, this is Danny at Orlantech. Is Lisa available in marketing? Our agents aren't working on it, and we got to make sure they're protected. We need to reinstall them. Joelle, I know she's talked to Danny before at Orlantech, and she's not 100% sure of that voice, so she's going to put her through to Lisa in marketing. And if Lisa's not 100% sure and she knows there's Danny, she goes to that website, lets them in. You just gave that hacker complete control of your network. Everything that Lisa has access to, that hacker now has access to. all with a few minutes of social engineering. So that's how dangerous it is. That's why we put software on systems that if they try to go to these websites and load stuff behind the scenes, they box them, and they got to put a request into us to install it. So that's why we've had to get all our clients because of tricks like this. So we started based on a few years ago, going to the hacker conference, they said hackers would do fake LinkedIn profiles. And so I have my marketing person every month check all our employees out on LinkedIn. She came to me one day and says, "Do you know Mary Schwartz? She's our new chief information security officer." So of course we didn't know he was a hacker. So what the hackers try to do is build trust. They, if they find your clients, whatever it might be, or they find any company in Orlando, they can say they work for Atlanta Tech and send them a LinkedIn link. But we called LinkedIn and they would not remove this person. They give them 2 weeks to verify that they work for our company and our pay stubs. So now the hacker knows they've got 2 weeks to do whatever they can before LinkedIn's going to shut them off. I'm like, great. So we emailed every single employee at every company we do with this picture to let them know if they get a call, not to accept it. Well, it's funny. All the stuff was about Miami, Florida, lived in Miami, went to the University of Miami, and they used the Miami University logo. But it's football, that's Ohio. And I was telling that to LinkedIn people, they didn't care. So you knew it was a hacker because it was probably overseas and didn't understand Miami wasn't there. This can be anybody. I mean, anything you do, they can do as a financial advisor or something and call. And if you go there, you see, oh, yeah, they're on LinkedIn, you might think it's legit. So, as I said, my uncle, got scammed for $18,000 from that phone call. And I was on a cybersecurity panel a couple of years ago telling that story. And one of the guys, I was telling my uncle, he's not Miller client at all. He's heard me tell stories at every Christmas and Thanksgiving. And he still got fooled. And when he called me and we had to do it, we live out in the country, you probably tell by my accent, where I grew up, he took his computer out, shot in the shot. Get it to his phone, get it to the pond, and all this stuff. Not only you have to do that, but they got in, he had his financial advisor log in on that Excel spreadsheet. He had his PayPal, they got $5,000 out of PayPal. But I'm like, and the guy stopped me, and this guy he was intelligence, and he was tasked with studying Iranian groups in Iran and what they did. He said, "Keith, I want to ask you something." He said, "Do you have salespeople?" And I said, "Yes." He said, "Do they have quotas?" I said, "Yes." "What happens if they don't meet their quota time after time? What happens?" I said, "Well, I'll release them, let them not go hit quotas elsewhere." And he said, "Exactly." He said, "We have undercover video in Iran. It was a 5-story building, 100 hackers per floor. Most of them are held there against their will." And he said, "It's like a business." He said, "We've got video of them dragging a guy out that hadn't met his quotas, and they beheaded him in front of all 500 employees." He goes, "We have pictures of them bringing daughters in and beating them with whips in front of their fathers because they're not meeting quotas." He said, "It is truly life and death for them to trick you and get the cybersecurity insurance company to pay. They might have $5,000, $10,000 a month quotas a week, whatever it might be. But you got to know who you're dealing with. On the other, it's not the kid, in the basement of the hoodie. Yeah, that might be 5 or 10% of hackers these days. And now it's these nation states with billions of dollars to spend to try to hack into, all these companies around the world. And if you get fooled and you got to pay $10,000, or you're the employee that gets the breach and causes the company $500,000 or $2 million, whatever it might be, this is what you're funding: sex trafficking, terrorism, drug cartels. These are just pictures I got off the internet of different hacker groups. That was in Pakistan, the big bust they had. But they've got tech support, they got marketing, they got all kinds of stuff. It's just a business. I'm gonna skip this because I won't be late, I think. So now we're gonna go to weak password and privacies. You can change all your passwords. So this is one of the key ways that hackers can get into your systems and your accounts. So we used to make our clients have a minimum of 8 characters with upper and lower case. And as of 2021, if I were to capture your password, I'm gonna show you how to do that a little bit later. And even if it's encrypted, I could take that and 3 utilities off the internet and crack your password within 8 hours. Now, this is 25 minutes, okay? That's how fast it's already increased in 2022. So right now, we're requiring 12 character minimums for our clients, and that was 34,000 years. I think it's 4,000 years this year. My password is 28 characters. Okay, and I'm gonna tell you how to remember those here in a minute. But what you can do, this link, how secure is my password.net. So you can go to that website. Don't put in your password, people who knows who's watching that in the back. But you can come up with something just similar that you might want to use, like Keep123. It's 26 seconds to crack that password. I will lose 10 pounds by summer. That was 3 to years. That's 33 years out of that. Okay, so the longer we can make it, the better. And I'm going to show you. So the other thing is, this is why everybody needs to be giving this presentation.
Yes.
So you should use a different and strong password for every single account you use on the internet. Okay, and if you work for a company, you should never ever use your company password and email at any other site. If you do that, you're making that company very, very vulnerable. So this is why. So we signed up for this service in 2019. The FBI did background searches on us to make sure, because with these utilities, it makes it very easy to hack. So I can go out and I can search any company in the world, their domain name, and they've got thousands of employees that do nothing but scan the dark web for known breaches. So they have these databases of where they've been compromised, the passwords that were compromised. So I put in Nike.com the first day in May when I received this. This was about 30 pages long. Okay. This is the first page. So right here, this password was welcome123. This password was password12. That one just wouldn't. This is what employees and companies are doing out on the internet. So say LinkedIn gets compromised and you use that password and that email address at 40 sites. LinkedIn was compromised in 2015 or 2017. So if I'm as this hacker here, I've got these email addresses of these employees. There's utilities I have on the dark web. I can put in this email address and that password. It'll try to log into like the top 5,000 websites on the internet. Go back with a report. Here's the 17 websites that same password works. Okay. Right now, I'm going to be going here. I'm going to go to all those sites, see what I can get, in order, do whatever I can to try to get it. It's truly that easy for hackers. So, how do you remember all these different passwords? How do you all these long passwords and stuff? So, I just want you to use a password. I don't care which one it is, okay? I want you to use a spreadsheet on your desktop or a book or anything like that. But we recommend, there's Lastpass, OnePass, KeyPass, Apple's got their password manager. Just start using one. I do get the question often, what happens if Lastpass is compromised? I get it. It is a possibility. Nothing is foolproof. We all know Microsoft Department of Defense, all of them have breached. But they use very, very strong encryption on their database. Lastpass was breached in 2018. Their corporate network was. They never got to any of the client data. If all your passwords are out there and you lose your phone and your password and everything, you have to start over. Because the techs cannot recover that for you. Okay? People that work there can't get into your passwords. So you have one long password you gotta remember. Hopefully it's like 25 characters. And then you have to hopefully have a biometrics, finger scan, eye scan, swipe, whatever it might be, which is another form of authentication. And then it's gonna have an app on your phone as well when you first launch it that you gotta approve as well from a website or so. So if I'm a hacker and I get your password, I still gotta come steal your phone and cut your finger off like James Bond or something to get into it. So it's that 3 layers of protection, which is about the best we can do right now with ease of use. So how do you remember long passwords? So what's really cool now is a space is a special character. So you no longer have to use the ampersand, pound sign, whatever it might be, exclamation. Just make a sentence, okay? Make a goal. I read an article a couple of years ago that you got to change your password where you work whatever every 3 to 6 months. Just make a goal for that quarter, or or something you might want to do. These are a little bit dated, but any of these fit all of those requirements because they've got numbers on them, they've got special characters, they've got upper and lower case. So this one doesn't work. I tried this one. But you want to go on more dates. You want to go to more of these meetings. You want to do whatever it might be. Go to more kids' baseball games. Make something like that. Don't make it a standard passphrase known on the internet. Okay? Because hackers will have that in their database where they just flood it with millions of tries of passwords. They're going to have a database of known things. So mix it up just a little. And these, they're just probably 20, 22 characters, 24 characters, something like that. So hacker tools. So I bought this kit off the internet. You can buy it at the hacker convention too. Costs you about $300 for this one. Yes, they're legal, believe it or not. You probably heard you get viruses off of thumb drives and hard drives and SD cards. But this one's unique. So it looks just like a standard gig USB drive. I can stick this in, I can copy files and paste files all day long, and it works. I can scan it, it comes up clean when I scan it with antivirus. It's called a rubber ducky. And what's unique about this, you can take it apart, and inside of this USB drive, there's a chip right there in the middle. That chip is a keyboard drive, okay? And then it's got a hidden micro SD card. This is where I'm gonna put my payload. Remember those keyloggers, ransomware, remote control utilities? I'm gonna put those on this. So what happens is, I find one of these, I bring it back, say I'm plugging in my work computer, I'm already logged in as myself, so I'm already given the credentials needed for my network. We'll plug this in, it's gonna load a storage driver, so you show up as your E drive, whatever. But in the background is to keep this chip to the load, run the script when I tell it to run on there, and install that keylogger or whatever. Why is that a big deal? Well, they sell these by the 10-pack, 100 packs, all of this, all the hotcakes out there, to the conventions. So this is what happens. I get 10 of them, say I put my payloads on, and I go out downtown. I'm gonna go to where, executives, VIPs, wealthy people hang out, because I'm trying to make money. So I'm gonna go to, like, say, Bill Stokes. I'm gonna sit at the bar, have a drink, finish my drink, and I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna go to Mathers downtown, or I'm gonna go somewhere else, Campbell Square, and just go in the restroom and leave that just sitting on the sink. I'm gonna do that in 10 different places. I'm gonna go back and sit and wait. I can promise you 8 out of 10 people will pick that up, take it home, and plug it in something. I promise you that many people do it. Statistics have shown that they've run all these tests. Very, very scary. Then I sit back and wait. It's going to start with the keylogger or whatever, and it's going to alert me when it does it. And I just see how many people I can compromise. So you need to tell all your friends and stuff that they ever see any of these. I tell people if you see them like in a restaurant, I'll pick it up because I don't want to stay there. I'm going to give it to the hostess, and just say, put a note on this, do not stick it on anything. If somebody comes back and we give it to them, otherwise throw it away. Do not stick that anywhere. Some people are good hearted and just trying to find out if somebody left it somewhere, so if there's a document, we get it back to them. It's all things to do. This is called key crop. It's something like this. So these are very targeted attacks. There's ads on the dark web for cleaning crews. They work at these larger companies. They'll pay the cleaning crew $500. The person shipped in one of these, if they have access to the CEO, CFO, the server room, all you gotta do is unplug the keyboard, plug this in, and plug the keyboard back, boom, that's it. That's all you have to do. And now it's recording every single keystroke that CEO and CFO does. When's the last time the CEO's probably pulled his computer out of the eye? He'll be there for years. So every document, every password on the internet, where that CEO goes, the hackers get it. This one came out about a year and a half ago. It's called the OTK. Well, like I said, these are very targeted attacks because they're pretty expensive. on a low energy cable. So what they do with these, they're gonna target, once again, a VIP of the company exec, and you're gonna receive a gift in the mail. With like a little brochure of the company, it's all fake. And it says, hey, we wanna earn your business. Here's a free gift, give us a call, we love to do it, we'll be here, blah, blah, blah. Like I'm a CEO and I get these probably once a week, different, you just rip it up, throw that away, keep the $5 or whatever they send you. And that's exactly what the hackers hoping you're gonna do, is keep that file. You plug that in, you're gonna charge your device with it or whatever, your laptop. You pull this little cover off, that's a full-blown Linux server. As soon as you plug it in, it powers up, it has about 7 different network hacking tools that start to go to town on your network as soon as it gets powered. We were out in Vegas in August last year at Mandalay Bay. 100 of these showed up in front of doors of guest rooms as a gift from the hotel. Yeah, so they were scrambling to tell everybody what was happening and that they hadn't already gotten into it. So I started including these devices. So this is for you keyless entry vehicle people. If you got a key in your pocket, without, you can't bother, it's just this. And you go and touch your door and your door unlocks and you just push the button. So these are dangerous. So what can happen here? So the laptops and outings goes the long millennia. The hackers know which type of vehicles are keyless entry vehicles. So they see her pull up, she gets out, goes to the long millennia. One's gonna follow her in with one of these, and the other's gonna go to her car. So when he gets within 15 feet of my wife, it'll pick up that key signal, and they'll transmit it up to 1.5 miles away. And the hacker touches it, opens the car, steals the laptop, steals everything out of it, okay? And they can drive the car up to 1.5 miles away, so if they've got a trailer, they can put it on that, go on your car. There's video after video of this happening on the internet. They're gonna drive around neighborhoods, they're gonna walk, see a car outside, your car's not in the garage. They're gonna walk around your house, one guy's gonna go to every window, trying to see if your key, your purse is within 15 feet of that wall. If it is, they're inside your car. If you've got your garage door opener in your car, then they can get access to your home as well. Very dangerous. So, and this goes for if you put your purse in the trunk, doesn't matter because the car thinks you have the key, so the trunk opens as well. So dangerous while traveling. This one came out 2 years ago. So if you go and charge at USB charging stations while traveling, like at the airport, you unlock your phone, you plug it in. They started putting routines and stuff on these charging ports for marketing purposes. What type of phone you have, you can read and talk to your phone. It's not just charging your phone. So hackers will go, if they're traveling, upload malware to it, and plug your phone into it, put it back on yourself. Because you got it unlocked and using it. So I've got a gift for you here today, but what you can do is they sell these USB data blockers, so it's about $10 for a 2-pack. So you just put this in between the cable and the charging port. The USB cable has 4 wires, 2 for data, 2 for power. This cuts the 2 data, so only power can get to your devices. So if you use a power brick, and plug into a power thing, that's fine. They can't do that yet. But just keep that in your purse, and then whenever you travel, use it. Tell your kids to, please, because the kids are using their batteries so fast, you're trying to charge everywhere. And even if you're older at bars, stuff like that, that's the prime spot for it. Wi-Fi, this is how I'm going to steal your encrypted password. All right, so this is known as a pineapple. So what happens is, let's take Starbucks here. So I'm going to be sitting in this booth over here. I'm going to have my business suit on. I can be whatever I want. I can be sitting out in the car outside. But I'm going to log into Starbucks Wi-Fi. I'm going to accept it. I'm going to activate that. And it's going to capture the screen that Starbucks use, their splash screen that you would read all their stuff and use their free Wi-Fi. Then I'm going to load it. Then I'm going to name mine either the same thing. I'm going to name it Starbucks free, Starbucks open, Starbucks something. And then I'm just going to sit there and wait. As the students come in, business people, they come in, they connect to mine, and then I'm just going to push them out Starbucks internet. I'm just the gateway in between. I'm capturing everything you do on the internet now. Because you just connected to my free hotspot. I'm trying to save yourself data and our kids and stuff that we tell, try to not use our data plans. First thing we've ever done. So all my employees were not allowed to connect to open hotspots. This is extremely dangerous, okay? They got to tether off their cell phones if they're traveling and stuff. We're not allowed to connect the hotspots because that can happen. Now you can kind of be a little bit more safe, you know, if there's only one there and stuff. But hotels, this is what's dangerous. Have you ever connected to a hotspot that it says remember? You know, so you don't have to reconnect again. You go on your laptop on your phone. So you can come to the Starbucks drive-thru every day for your cup of coffee, and I can live next door. These things have, I can put an antenna for $50 and go a mile away. I can be living down the road. I can make mine the exact same thing, even if they got a password or not. And your phone's gonna look, and when it gets near me, it's gonna auto-connect, because you connected to me before, to that SSID, which is the name of the Wi-Fi. And your phone's gonna auto-connect, connect to your email, pass your email, and then your password. So I just captured that. All you did was drive through for a cup of coffee. And then I'm gonna see how strong your password is. So name your password, and I'm gonna have that in a few minutes. I just captured that for your email, and I'm inside. So it's very dangerous. We're gonna move on. How much time on that?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is examples of keyloggers, because I know I spoke a lot about keyloggers. So this is one, like I said, it's going to capture email, cell, everything, just backlinks, push it up to the hack. So this is where it gets interesting, cell phones. Okay. So this is one you can buy. You can buy your kids, your spouse if you want to. You load it and it disappears. You can't see it. But look at this. It captures calls, messages, Facebook, Snapchat, WhatsApp, browser, photos, video. So you go to a website and you can see everything your kid's done. I don't advise it because you probably grab me for life. So if these are out for the hackers have for two people, I'm seeing it on the dark web. This is where they're coming. You're trying to get on your cell phone and start putting these types of things on there to grab your banking credentials and apps and all kind of stuff. Extremely, extremely dangerous. So I tell people, I was at a conference with an FBI agent, and I was talking to him about this, and he said his granddaughter wanted to put a game on his phone one day. And of course, he's not going to let her do that, but his hobby is reading that license agreement. It's like 15 pages everybody reads. So on the 7th page, there was one sentence on this game. It said, if you agree to install our game on your phone, you give us the right to forward all of your outgoing text messages to our overseas servers for marketing purposes. And that's all it said. He said it's 100% legal because they told you what they're doing in that agreement. And they said they're doing it for legal purposes, marketing. Are you really doing it? So everything, hey, honey, here's our Amazon password we forgot. Here's this, here's a picture. That, whoever that is going to that server in Pakistan or wherever is capturing that information, rerouting it, changing the caller ID so they think it comes from you. And nobody ever knows, all because you downloaded a free game for your kid on your phone. Okay. My neighbor down the road, he got breached and they got $10,000 out of his bank account. He didn't call me the first time. And it took him 3 weeks to get his money back. And so the bank had to change his password and then got the money back. What did the bank happen next day? $10,000 was taken out of his bank account again. Bank wouldn't give it back this time. He called me that night. I went down to his house. Like I said, everybody calls. So I have all these stories. I got on his computer and looked. And what had happened, he had a keylogger on him, just like this. What had happened was, I went back to all the logs. His son got home after school one day, downloaded a free shoot-up game off the internet. 5 seconds after that installed, the keylogger was embedded in that free game. Okay, nothing is free. Okay, the bank said he couldn't get his money back. It's not the bank's fault, people. The bank lost 20 grand, or 10 grand already due to his son downloading a free game. And then I helped him put the defense together that they didn't make him use multi-factor authentication, which is where if somebody logs in again from you, it texts you, or you have some other method, email and stuff. So he got his $10,000 back, but it took 4 months. He almost did. The bank's got $20,000. The banks are getting tired of spending this much money for people using poor security. So get ready. You're going to start losing money. The banks aren't just going to hand it back. So you got to be very, very careful. And also, if you use any work computers or do stuff work at home, don't let your kids on those machines, please. And please don't be down coupons and everything else like my mom does. It can be very, very dangerous. Google Ads, I put this one in this year. One of my really good friends, she broke up with a longtime boyfriend, and it didn't go well. And she lived down in Jupiter, and she wanted to get the locks changed that day. So she went to Google Ads and typed, "What's this near me?" So I did this here in Maitland just to see how it showed. And sure enough, it had a company she'd seen, their vans running around town, called the phone number, somebody answered, she said what happened, and I'll be there within a few hours, thank you very much. A few hours went by, knock on the door. It was a guy, said he's there to change your locks. Okay. So, what if? She got a weird feeling, weird vibe. So first thing was he wasn't wearing a company shirt. So she said, why aren't you wearing a company shirt? To come out here and do work. And he's like, well, we're all working remotely. All my shirts from the washer. And I knew you wanted to get your locks changed really quick. So I just decided to throw something on and come on over. Okay, that sounds legitimate. She knows she's seen their vehicles all over the place. He was just driving a beat up car. So she asked him about the vehicle. Oh, they got other vehicles in lockdown. We're having us use our own cars. She goes, well, I've seen their vehicles. Oh, well, they just started doing it. So she's questioning it. She's using that what if. Luckily, her now neighbor was outside doing gardening. So she asked him to come over there for a second. And the guy's like, what's up? She's like, I'm going to go inside and call the company. I just want to verify. I just want to go from there and call. And the guy said, oh, you called, right? You called the number off Google? Well, yes, but I still want to go inside and verify I'm a single female. I'm sure you can respect that. So she went inside and got this car. They called the police, and they ended up doing research. And he had paid for a Google ad, had a disposable cell phone with a fake phone number, used the company's name, okay? And so she called, he was the guy who answered the phone when she called. And that's another red flag, right? Because you probably have a dispatcher or something for a company that size. So I started putting this in that just anybody can do this. You can do it for a company. So what would have happened? What if? He'd have the key to her house. He'd come back at night. Was he going to rape her, kill her, or just rob? He was going to do something that was one of those three. So you pick which three it was. So hackers are very creative. These criminals, whatever. I mean, you got to think like they think. Okay, they're going to use all this new technology and ways to trick you, and that's why I just give these examples. My son called me one day. He said, "Dad, are you going to Phoenix or Charlotte?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He goes, "Well, my Google calendar, I have 2 flights there." I logged in this system, and sure enough, there it was. Had flights. I'm like, So there was a link. So I got the link. We went to it. It was actually, I don't remember if this was what type of malware it was, but trying to put malware on your system. So I'm like, he goes, I didn't accept any calendar things or whatever. So I went back. It was for 9 months previously. Somebody had sent him a calendar request. He thought it was just somebody sent something in the wrong place and he deleted it. I didn't know this. So Google, if you use Gmail and stuff, even if you delete the calendar entry, it'll automatically put it in your calendar. Okay? And then the hackers like to do it out. They want you to forget. So he'd forgotten deleting that 9 months ago, and then it showed up. So they're trying to hack him at that time because he thinks somebody, if it was like somebody else, that somebody's booking a flight in my name or something like that, trying to get you to click on that link. So you have to go in and tell it to not show and only show the ones that you accept. Otherwise, they're going to show on your screen. We already talked about the cell phone. One thing on the cell phone. Okay, you have a lot of free apps, games and stuff, flashlights, noise makers, all these free things. Once again, nothing is free, people. Okay, so they either get marketing information, they either want you to upgrade and Angry Birds and all that, they give you first free, you buy more, or they're trying to steal stuff. It's one of those three. It's not because they're good-hearted, just wanted to spend 4,000 hours developing an app to put out there for free. So it's one of those three. So are all of your free stuff on your phone one of the two that's okay? So I tell people, if you're in a waiting room or something with a doctor for 30 minutes, go through all your free apps and stuff you download. If you haven't used them in 6 months, just uninstall them. You don't know what that's doing in the background, okay? If you need it again, you can download these things in 2 seconds and reinstall them because they're so fast these days on cell phones, and then reuse it if you have to. I tell people also just go to Google and do a search on the app you want to download and reviews. They'll let you know if there's things going on with it that people might see. Make sure it's legit. Very easy to do before you download something. You can check your personal email addresses and stuff like that, or company. Just put them in howaboutthatpod.com. That link's on the website. It'll show you known stuff on the dark web, kind of like that one I have that shows you the actual passwords. So this kind of gives you a scenario. I read this one a few years ago, but like I had like 4 pages of these. Like Adobe was compromised in 2013. They had my email address, password hints, and passwords and usernames. So if I was using the same password at 20 sites as I was at Adobe, they could compromise those other sites. I've probably given 30 of these presentations, and when I was doing this, it hit password hints. Because that's how you can recover passwords sometimes, right? That's how some of these celebrities have been breached. I don't know what I used. Mother's maiden name, high school mascot, place of birth, I don't know. So now every one of my password hints is fake. And I gotta record that in my password manager because that's out on the dark web and stuff. The hackers have password hints that I've used in the past. So if you ever see password hints and stuff feel like that, you gotta think like a hacker would think, what did I do there? I can't preach this enough, okay? Multi-factor. So any financial site you go to, please, banking, credit card, financial advisor, whatever it might be, wherever you go, please set up multi-factor. Don't be lazy, because if the hacker does capture your credentials and you don't have this set up, it's open season for them. You got multi-factor set up, they're gonna see that, they're gonna go away. You're going for the low-hanging fruit. For them to crack multi-factor, they gotta steal your SIM card. It's very targeted for them to do that, redirect browsers and stuff. It's not impossible, but you're gonna be 99% better off than all the other people that don't use multi-factor. So please do that. If your bank doesn't offer it, you might want to contact them and highly suggest they do. Credit freezes. I got a link on this on how to do credit freezes with all the 3 main bureaus. If you ever had lab work done at LabCorp West in the past, that came out 2 years ago, I think. So anything 2 years or prior, the hackers have your social security number, driver's license number, address, phone numbers, insurance information, everything they need to take out a loan in your name. Okay, somebody tried to take a loan out on me last year. I got a letter from a bank in Nashville, said they denied a $35,000 loan because my credit was locked. And I had to call them, and they had all my information. Okay, they did take unemployment out on me over the summer. Of course, the government was just handing out money like candy to everybody and not checking anything. So we didn't find out about it for 4 months. But Equifax, whose credit bureau was breached as well. Capital One was breached, Marriott was breached, Target was breached. There's several of them. So if you do the credit freeze, it takes about an hour to do all 3 per person. If you want to do that for every member of your family, I don't care if you got a 6-month-old, if they got a social security number, do it. Okay. And once you do it takes about an hour for like the 3 of my family. But you can't do anything after that. You can't open a credit card. You can't even give them a cell phone. My CFO, she went to get a cell phone for the girls, and she got denied because her credit was locked. Because all my boys do this now too. So she had to go home, and you got to put in you can do an override for like 24 hours where it'll open back up your credit. And all you got to do is save the PIN codes that you set up, and then it'll open it back up. And then you can take out a loan, credit card, whatever you need, buy a car. Do it for a week if you need to, if the loan process is going to take. But it's very good. I've talked to so many people that's had their credit stolen, and it's such a pain. If you know anybody that's happened to, it's so hard to get that out of your name. Notifications, credit cards, bank accounts, once again. So unlike Dave Ramsey, I know people shoot me on this, but I use credit cards for everything. Okay, I like the points. Okay? But I pay my bills off every month, so, if you can't do that, don't use them. But, the fraud protection on credit cards is exponentially better than bank charge. Okay? I will not let my son use his ATM card. So he can only use it inside the bank if he needs cash. He never uses it anywhere else. The reason being, just like my friend that had the problem, his money compromised. Banks just don't have that technology in place yet. They're getting better, but you've probably seen this, like, say, Visa or somebody will call you. They do these physical checks that I can't be at Home Depot in Orlando and then Home Depot in LA within 2 hours of each other with the same card. When the hackers, can replicate that card. And they'll block that and put a thing on it. Banks don't have a lot of that technology. A credit card will give you 60 days to report fraud, okay? And then get your money out. I have had a report so made for my company and personal. I mean, within 30 minutes, I get the money back and it's gone. They've done it. Banks, you've got to fight with them. You got 30 days as personal to tell the bank of fraud, and you'll probably get your money back on the first tip. But if it's multiple, you got to be very careful. Corporations, fewer days. So as a company, like we are, it's up to us to stop the breach from happening. If $500,000 gets taken out of my bank account, it's gone. If I don't let the bank know immediately and try to get FBI involved, because if a hacker gets the money out of your bank account, what they're going to do is they'll transfer it to another bank account. You can't transfer it internationally right away. Large sums like that. They put a 24-hour block on those stuff. So it's going to go 24 hours and sit this hacker's account, and then after that, it's going overseas and it's gone. Period. So that's why I have these notifications. You need to be notified on everything. Okay. The faster you can act for your bank account, the better. The more chances you are going to get your money back. I've got this on my son's bank account, my wife and I, every savings, money market, financial, my credit cards. I probably get 40 notifications a day to my cell phone. I'm really good. I can go through them. I get balances every day of all my accounts because you've got to take that 5 extra minutes a day and do this to stop this $100,000 all of a sudden gone from your personal savings and stuff. As I end here, I'll show you some pictures from the conferences. This is the one back in August. We were still all in masks and stuff out there for that one. This guy was showing how to hack a satellite. This is talking about attack vectors for autonomous cars. They have Teslas and stuff. The goal is to take over the steering wheel, gas pedal, and brake pedal to crash the car. They're all doing it. And then that was one of the Teslas there. They've got other autonomous vehicles. Hacking charging stations for all these Teslas and stuff, how to get free stuff. This guy, remember when I told y'all that I make us tether off our cell phones? My engineer and I, we wipe our laptops, we've got done it, we wipe our phones when we go. Because this is crazy what we see out there. We're only using our cell phones tethering to get out to the internet. And they kept going slow and fast, and it was really weird. So we went to this conference, one of the events there, and they announced that there was a hacker there. Apparently, in one of the rooms was capturing cell phone data going out. The government can do this already. They have planes and stuff to do this, but this is extremely illegal. And so they were announcing if anybody knows who it is or finds them, to let them know. So at least they were trying to do something good. So we had to change all our passwords and not use that, which is absolutely crazy. But how to hack ATMs? You think Apple's safe? They're hacking Mac OSs left and right. G Suite. So these are like the villages. I mean, from voting booths to medical. Medical is really big. They're going out to hospitals. I know some in Cincinnati and get some others that got hacked. They're taking down life-saving machines. Okay, it's truly life and death if they can't access the patient data or all these things are tied together now. The EKGs and all, and they're having to figure that out. And so hospitals are paying ransom like crazy because people are going to die if they don't get it back. But here's that, like those kits, you can go buy them. They were just selling out like hotcakes. So I'm gonna give 2 final bonus tips. But the first one is this. So a little personal with you. So y'all saw like that one spicy program I talked about, right? Where you can spy on the kids and all. When we were at the hacker convention this last August, they were talking a lot about this. They're trying to come up with these where they can get in on your phone and record everything you're doing, okay? All because you plugged in that USB thing, you did this with this website, click on that link. If they get a program like that Spicy on here, and trust me, these things can work with it off. I snore a lot, and I'll record my story on here, and it's completely blank, shut off, and it records my snoring events through the night, so it's listening to me. I'm sure they can just, all they gotta do is turn the camera on and not show it on here. So what's gonna happen, this is what they're trying to do. They're gonna get your phone compromised, you're not gonna know. Like I said, it's gonna go on for 3 to 6 months. It's very personal. If you take your phone with you to the bathroom, you leave it with you in the bedroom. If it's propped up, if it's like this, cameras on both sides, people. So they're gonna record all that. Your kids, and get your kids' phones too, whatever it might be. But then you're gonna get a call or something that's gonna say, I'm a hacker. I've been monitoring and compromised your phone for the last 3 months. Go to this website and you're gonna see pictures and videos of you and your family in compromised positions. If you don't pay me $50,000 within 1 week, I'm releasing this to every contact in your phone. Family, your friends, your business. They already have it. They've been on your phone. What are you gonna do? Okay, I'm telling you, it's coming. It's gonna be too late then. It's too late. So if you pay, they might not email all your people in your list, but then what happens next year? Did they really delete it all? Okay, I want 25,000, 100,000 this year. Unless you're a Kardashian or something, maybe you want it, but you gotta think like that, So this was saying I've already had hijacked webcams, but like I said, you gotta think, what if they're watching you, right? So I've got to keep my phone with me 24/7 because if servers, clients go down, engineers need me, you've got elderly parents, but when this goes into my room at night, things go over the top of it. Just for the camera, if they hear me, so be it. I can't stop everything. But one last story, because this has happened just in the last few months. We were just talking about it when I started, but they're coming out to grandparents. You've probably heard some of these stories. But this one's unique. So it is still where the grandson got arrested. He calls the grandfather. I spoke to two grandfathers. They don't know each other, not being compared at all. Swore they were talking to their grandson. Okay, the grandson's very upset, crying. Granddad, can you please help me get out of jail? I want to go home and talk to Dad. It's only like $10,000, $20,000. It's bail, and I'm not going to flee the country to get your money back. So it seems safe, right? Can you talk to the bail officers or the officer here real quick? He won't let me talk to him or he hands the phone. And now he's talking to the officer's person. So the officer tells him, and then the granddad transfers the money. One lost 18 and one lost 32, I think it was, thousand. What's interesting on both of these, both grandfathers absolutely swore 100% they were talking to their grandsons. Okay? So I've seen some of this out of the hacker convention about artificial intelligence and then manipulating video, to try to trick citizens and start conflicts and make it look like leaders or celebrities. You might have seen some of these with Obama and stuff on the thing, just people playing around with it, how they're going to actually do movies for people that's already been dead. So, but they can capture that recording of you saying stuff and then use artificial intelligence to turn that into other words. Okay, so I think that's what happened. I don't know for sure, but that's why the grandson can't answer questions. He just talks really fast, crying, and then he hands the phone off, and then the police officer won't let him talk to the grandson. So I think they recorded. They either got videos on TikTok or something that the grandsons were doing, called them 6 months ago and asked them questions and recorded it, and then manipulated it. The grandsons didn't remember, so I don't know what it is, but I just know it's coming. So and it's happening. So just tell everybody, you have grandkids or parents and stuff to be aware of that. You should be going behind your kids to grandkids anyway. That's all I have for tonight. So, any questions?
this stuff's already on our cell phone.
So I do have some links on there for some cell phone utilities. It's interesting. I actually read an article last week